Yo, what's going on guys, HyperX here, welcome back to another Destiny video and another raid boss guide. This time we are turning our attention to Vosik the Archpriest, who is actually the first boss you fight. I've currently got guides up for the final boss, the Siege Engine, and now I'm wrapping it up with the first boss you fight. In this video I'm going to group together both encounters. The first time you fight him when you're outside as soon as you spawn in the raid, and then of course he runs away, and the second fight where you ultimately defeat him. The reason I'm doing that is because he's the same boss, and the first part is super easy, so I figured I'd give you a complete guide to defeating Vosik. So if you do enjoy this, do find it helpful, a like would be super appreciated, and of course comment down below if you have any questions. So, to begin with, first part of the encounter, you start outside, and you will see a load of these light beacons all around the area, and there are 3 of these stations. One in the middle, one on the left, and one on the right. When you walk into a light beacon, you are charged with voltage and you have a 15-second timer. If you do nothing and that timer hits 0, you will die. The idea is that you need to collect enough voltage until you get to a maxed voltage stage, and you then take it to one of these 3 stations, you charge the station, and then once all 3 stations are charged enough, they will then drop down Siva charges, you use those to take down the shield on the boss, and you then deal damage. The only other thing you will need to watch out for is that roaming around the level are these big servitors known as voltage eaters. If you leave them to run around, they will then go and consume the voltage that you put into the station. So when you see them, it is imperative that you take them out. So that is fundamentally how the fight works, but now let's actually run through the fight. So, to begin with, what you want to do is split your team into 3 teams of 2. 2 in the middle, 2 on the left, and 2 on the right. One person in each team is going to be a runner to grab the voltage, the other person is simply going to be there to clear ads. So decide among yourselves who is going to do what role, and then go to your specific locations, make sure you stay by the pods. What you then want to do is have the runner go around and grab voltage. Now you need to grab 4 of these charges. Every single time you grab a new one, it refreshes your timer. But once you get 4, you will hit the voltage maxed stage. Once you've got that, return to the pod or the station and hold down X or hold down square to dunk it, and you'll then charge the station. The central kind of pillar will start to rise a little bit, and you then go and repeat the process. You need to do this about 3 times on each of the different stations, and eventually once you've done it, it will then reach the top and it will start spewing out Siva charges, lots of them. So what you then do is you grab them and you throw them at the boss, who is of course at the center. Of course throughout this whole thing, he will be teleporting around shooting at you, so you do need to watch out for him. But honestly, he's not really that much of a threat at this stage. So throw Siva charges at him until his shield is down, and then you can deal damage to him. The Siva charges themselves actually deal a lot of damage, so I wouldn't actually worry about using your weapons, just save your ammo. Those Siva charges come out pretty frequently, so grab them, throw them at him, deal some damage, and then his shield will go back up, and you will then repeat the process. You do this until he is down to pretty much no health, and then he will run away. And that's really all there is to the first encounter. It's literally grab the voltage, dunk the voltage, grab the Siva charges, down his shield, deal damage, and do enough damage until he runs away. And once he does, the raid doors open, and this is where the raid begins. So once you've done that, you run through, you go through the kind of jumping section, and you will then get into the main room, and this is where you fight him to kill him. So, first things first in this room, keep the teams you had before. It's still going to work around a concept of 2 left, 2 middle, and 2 right. And before I explain how this fight works, the other thing you guys need to know about is that located on the left and the right of the room are safe rooms. There's 2 on the left and 2 on the right. The boss has a move that will wipe everything in the vicinity. It will be when your screen says Siva density critical, he starts charging up and your screen starts sort of glitching. The only way you can survive this is by getting into one of these rooms, shooting the terminal, and it forces the door to close and it then protects you. Now do bear in mind that once you've shot one of the terminals to close the door, that room is then useless. You can never use a room again. So there are 4 rooms, meaning you have to be sparing with these, so it goes without saying you need to make sure all your team go into the same room. Don't just run into the room that's nearest you, because you will be wasting these rooms. So, with that in mind, here's how the fight works. You begin, again, assume your positions, 2 left, 2 middle, 2 right. Enemies will come down and you start fighting them, and then after you dealt with the first few waves of enemies, 3 Siva charges will drop down. You then need 1 person from each team to grab the Siva charge and throw them together at the boss. Now you have to throw them together, it's not like before where you can just throw them randomly to take down his shield. If you throw one and the other guys miss, then you won't do the damage needed to take down his shield. Ideally, if you do this correctly, then each set of 3 will take down a third of his shield. Once you've done that, more waves of enemies will spawn, and you want to keep an eye on the monitors behind him. A symbol, a kind of fallen symbol, will appear on one of the monitors. When it does, you need to shoot this monitor. Now the reason for this is because if you don't, he will enter the state and begin doing that move where he makes the Siva density critical, and you'll then be forced to run into a room. But the problem with this is if you're using the rooms too early, before you've even downed his shield, then you'll get to a point where you've used up all the rooms before you've even dealt damage to his health. So, you shoot the monitor that has the symbol on and it interrupts him. And once you've done that, you then repeat the cycle. More enemies come in, more Siva charges drop, you grab them, you throw them, do another third of his health, And you can do this 3 times without ever having to enter a room. On the 3rd phase, you down his shield, and of course at this point, this is where you do your first section of DPS. So have everyone meet in the middle, drop down weapons of light, use tethers, use everything you have, heavy weapons, snipers, whatever you want, but deal as much damage as possible. After the first damage phase, when his shield goes back up, this is when you use one of the safe rooms. Now you can't just use a room at random, one of the rooms will light up orange, so you need to make sure people are paying attention. Call out when a room is lit up, and then run into that room, make sure everyone is in, shoot the console, and then the doors will go down. Now do bear in mind, if someone is really far away and the console starts flashing red, then you will have to just shoot the door and lock them outside, because of course if you don't close it in time, and it's flashing red, then you'll just kill everyone. So try and stay together, try and all get in, but it's not the end of the world if you just have to close the door and let someone die, because you can respawn, it's normal mode, so it's really not that bad. Anyway, you survive in one room, you go out, make a note of that room, because of course do remember you will never be able to reuse that room, but you then return to your positions, 2 left, 2 right, 2 mid, and you then repeat the cycle. Kill the enemies, a charge drops down, throw 3 charges together, deal a third of the damage to his shield, shoot a monitor to interrupt him, repeat the process, deal the next third, shoot the monitor, deal the final third, deal damage, and of course at this point if you haven't killed him you will then return to another safe room, and you basically repeat this process until he's dead. Again, there are only 4 safe rooms, so you need to do this in a maximum of 5 rotations, because if you've used 4 of the safe rooms, then after that stage, if you haven't killed him, you will have nowhere to run. So this must be done in a maximum of 5 rotations, but of course, depending on your damage, depending on how geared you are, you may well do it sooner. But either way, that's really all there is to it. It's a pretty easy boss fight, it's a lot of fun still, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, hopefully it helped you. If you have any questions whatsoever, let me know in the comments down below, and of course if you guys are stuck on any of the other bosses, then I have guides for the Siege Engine and the final boss, plus guides for like hidden chests and stuff like that. I've got loads of videos coming your way, so thank you for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.